Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Kelly Sparks, aka The Dude. So, I wanted to expand on a comment that Oscar left on one of the previous videos talking about protein intake. And I kind of want to elaborate on that. So, we're going to get straight into it. I don't have anything. It's 9:30 a.m. Having a cup of coffee. Need a refresher. And I figured I would just do a little bit of wrist work while we make this video. Something real light. I don't even have to think about this. I'm not even worried about how many reps I'm doing. So for weight loss, we're just going to start this. This is my opinion regarding losing weight in general. I would advise people, and this is not backed by any kind of scientific evidence, this is just my experience and everything I've read and studied and my own personal trials and tribulations. I would start, let's say you're 300 pounds and your goal is to be 200 pounds. Well, you don't necessarily have to go from your current diet all the way down to what a 200-pound man or person should be eating to maintain 200 pounds. You need to figure out how many calories it takes and the most possible for you to lose weight and still feel satiated. Now, you're going to feel hungry. If you're losing weight, you're doing it right, you're going to feel a little hungry most of the time because you're not getting the amount of calories you need that your body wants to sustain that current physical form. So, what I would advise, let's say, just for easy numbers, I like my shirt. It's almost, this is an XL. It's just a little snug around the belly section. So I need to work on that as well. I need to listen to what I'm preaching right now so I can lose about 20 more pounds. So for easy math, and this isn't obviously an exact set in stone because everyone's different. Let's say you're 300 pounds and your current daily caloric intake is 3,000 calories. I would suggest someone, if you're going to detail a diet, let's say you're eating 3,000 calories of shitty food, which might be 2 meals a day if it's Sonic or Whataburger or Chick-fil-A or whatever fast food restaurant. You might not be eating that much food if it's fast food. 3,000 calories of homemade prepped meals like chicken breast and rice is a lot of food. I mean, it's quite a bit of volume, especially if it's just chicken and rice. So you're going to feel fuller even though you're eating less calories. You're probably going to have to eat more often. And I'm not saying you got to eat 6 times a day. I don't know if there's any real... I'm sure somebody can find evidence of that type of diet working. Just pick a plan where you're eating a little less calories and the amount of meals that you can get in. So whether it's 2, 3, 6, 8, whatever. But I would start by reducing your total daily caloric intake by about 200 to 300 calories. So if you're on a 3,000, if you're just starting your program, you don't want to feel like you're starving. Obviously, don't go to the bottom of the barrel right off the bat because then you'll plateau in about a month. Your body's going to be like, fuck you, bro. We're starving. We're holding on to everything. And then you'll start gaining weight again. I've known too many people that have done that. So I would suggest you start at about a 200 calorie deficit. So the first month or whatever, or however long, you might lose weight for a while at 2,800 calories. But I would start at a 200 calorie deficit for at least the first few weeks. See how your body reacts to that. If you start losing weight, and we're not even talking about training yet. This is just a person who sits on their fat ass whenever they get off of work or whatever and doesn't do anything. This is for that person. Now, these variables will change for the people who lift weights, do conditioning, exercise. So just for diet, weight loss people, start at 200 to 300 calories less than your daily maintenance level. Run that for a few weeks, and while you're doing that, I would advise you to pick the least amount of variables in your diet. If you can stomach eating the same foods for meals, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, if you can eat the same food for meal 1, it could be bacon and eggs. I don't give a shit. If you can eat that every day of the week, great. If you can make a big pot of something, like a crock pot of chicken breast or whatever, like I do right now, and portion that out for your other meals, I mean, that could last you 3 or 4 days on $24, $25. I mean, I made a crock pot meal, chicken crock pot, that lasted 3 days, and I want to spent maybe $25 total for 6 to 7 meals, 6.5 meals. So, getting sidetracked. So start at a 200 to 300 calorie deficit. Run that. See how you feel. If you are losing weight, don't change anything. Don't change anything. Just keep doing what you're doing at those calories until you quit losing weight. And I would honestly wait a week. Only because you have the random meals with your coworkers and your family, and you might grab something quick, so you'll have water fluctuation in that period. But I would give yourself an honest week of not making any progress before you decided to reduce your calories again. And then I would go no more than 200 calories a day. Because you still want to maintain as many calories as possible while making progress. Now that goes even more for the person who is lifting weights, doing cardio and whatnot. Your calories are going to be a little bit higher because you have a higher activity level. So, with all of that said, I would start out, and this is just a recommendation, and you can fluctuate these percentages on your activity level. If you're a very sedentary person, you have a desk job, you don't really work outside much, you probably need less carbohydrates. So just to break down your meals, you could probably do, just for easy math, and you can change these numbers however you want, depending on how you feel. I would start at like 50% protein, 25% carbs, and 25% fat. Now, that's just an easy way to make a diet. Depending on your levels and even your DNA. Some people handle fats easier, some people handle carbs easier. You can fluctuate either of those. And you can even reduce the protein. If you're not training hard and heavy, you don't need as much protein. So if you're like Oscar and or even Renee, who's got his channel, Solid Whiskey Reviews, both of those guys are runners, ultra runners or whatever. They're the majority, like, they don't need to be big and bulky because that's not what their goal is. So their protein intake, in my opinion, doesn't need to be as high. They could probably get by with 30% of their diet being protein. And then I would say I'd probably go at least 30, 40 protein, fat, and carbs. I would feel like most of their diet needs to be coming from carbohydrates just because of their energy expenditures. But that's just my thoughts. There's nothing scientific based with that statement, so it's just a thought, thinking out loud. Now, if you're lifting heavy weights, your protein probably needs to be a little bit higher because you're trying to build muscle. You're, for lack of a better purpose or better words, you're trying to build while you're losing, which is incredibly hard. So you want to maintain what muscle you have while trimming off your fat. So your protein more than likely needs to be higher, and you could even place your carbs strategically around your workouts, and on off days reduce the carbs, bring the fats up because you don't need as much energy, and try to keep your calories the same. Oh, that bird was just chasing that squirrel. They got in a fight. But I hope that clears it up a little bit. I'm sure I could keep rambling on about this, but I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. But at the end of the day, in general purposes, if you're trying to lose weight, I would figure out your daily maintenance calories, track whatever you eat on a weekly basis for a few weeks, figure out roughly how many calories you're taking in, whether you're gaining or losing weight or staying the same, and then from there, knock off 200 calories a day. So, start with that. Anyway, if you want any more answers, or if you have any more questions, please comment below and I'll try to make a video on it going forward. Or you can contact me on social medias and we can talk personally. So, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Like always, lift weights, drink coffee, drink whiskey, whatever you want to drink. Share it with your friends and family. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Take care. We'll see you next time. Cheers.